check your local sports broadcaster, as rights vary by region. The WTA website itself provides a comprehensive list of where the tournament airs in every territory. The match is expected to slot into the afternoon session on Court 1 or Center Court, though the exact order of play typically gets confirmed the evening before. Keep an eye on the Queen's Club and WTA social media channels for final scheduling updates. Now let me tell you why this particular rematch, on this particular week, carries a weight far beyond what the rankings suggest. Alex Eala arrived in London on Sunday having just played the best week of grass court tennis in her life. At the Lexus Birmingham Open, a WTA 125 event that finished on June 7th, she tore through the draw without losing a set until the final. She beat Priscilla Hahn 6-0, 6-2 in the opening round. She handled Alina Kariva 6-2, 7-5. She cruised past Maninkaya Sawenki 6-3, 6-2 in the quarters. In the semifinal against Rebecca Mazarova, she dropped a set for the first time all week but recovered to win 6-2, 4-6, 6-3. And then in the final against 5th seed Nikola Bartonkova, who also happens to be one of her practice partners, Eala lost the opening set 5-7 before staging a comeback that ended 6-3, 7-5 in the decider. That title, her second at the WTA 125 level, was also her first on grass. When she spoke afterward, she was careful not to inflate the moment. "Lifting this trophy does not mean that I will be among the greats yet," she said. "That is not false modesty. That is a player who understands the distance between a 125 title and the WTA 500 draw she walked into 48 hours later. Because look at what happened on Monday." Eala stepped onto the grass at Queen's Club against Zheng Shuai, the veteran Chinese player ranked 64th, and immediately fell behind a break. Zheng held and consolidated, and suddenly it was 2-0 and the Birmingham buzz looked fragile. But here is where the title week mattered. Eala did not panic. She broke back in the fourth game, found her range behind a first serve that won 17 points in the opening set alone, and closed it out 6-3. The second set opened with 3 consecutive breaks, but Eala won 4 of the last 5 games to finish 6-2. 6 match wins in a row on grass. Unbeaten on the surface in 2026. A streak built not on a single spectacular performance, but on the quiet accumulation of small, correct decisions. That is who walks into the round of 16 against Jovic. Now let me paint the other side. Iva Jovic's 2026 has been something close to extraordinary for an 18-year-old. She entered the year ranked 27th in the world after winning her first WTA title in Guadalajara last September. At the Australian Open in January, seeded for the first time at a Grand Slam, she beat Katie Volinets, Priscilla Hahn, 7th seed Jasmine Paolini, and Yulia Putintseva to reach the quarterfinals. She was the youngest woman to make the Australian Open quarters in 19 years. Then Aryna Sabalenka beat her 6-3, 6-0, and the gap between a remarkable tournament and true elite status was drawn in thick, unmissable ink. What happened next is instructive. Jovic's season after Melbourne has been a series of high ceilings and sudden floors. She reached the semifinals in Dubai, losing to top seed Jessica Pegula in 3 sets. She went deep in Miami, falling to Coco Gauff in the 4th round after leading 7-5 in the first set. But she also lost early in Austin, lost to Camila Osorio at Indian Wells in the 2nd round, and dropped a puzzling match to Talia Gibson in Charleston. Her overall record entering Queen's Club sits at 23-12, which is very good. But those losses reveal a player whose concentration lapses carry real consequences. On clay at Roland Garros, Jovic found something. She beat Eala in the first round, then demolished Emma Navarro 6-0, 6-3 in the second, before pushing Naomi Osaka to a third-set decider in a match she ultimately lost 6-7, 7-6, 4-6. That Osaka match is worth noting because it showed Jovic's ability to compete at an intensity that few 18-year-olds can sustain. She did not wilt. She fought for every point in a match that swung wildly, and she left Roland Garros with her ranking and her confidence largely intact. At Queen's Club, she opened against Croatia's Antonija Ruzic and won 6-3, 6-4. It was not spectacular. It was professional. And for Jovic, who has limited grass court experience at the professional level, that kind of controlled, unhurried first-round win is probably more valuable than a flashy performance would have been. She is still learning the surface. Her feet are still calibrating to the slide that does not exist on grass, to the low bounce that punishes high backswings, to the premium that the surface places on the serve. And the serve is the single most important technical conversation in this match. I need to be direct about this. Alex Eala's serve is a documented liability. In 2026, she has committed 77 double faults against just 21 aces. Her second serve points won percentage sits at 47.2%. On clay at Roland Garros, Jovic attacked that exact weakness, winning 21 first return points to Eala's 10. The American made Eala's serve the centerpiece of her tactical plan, and Eala had no answer. But grass changes the math. Not entirely, not magically, but meaningfully. Eala's first serve percentage this season sits around 65%, and when that first serve lands on grass, the surface does something clay refuses to do. It rewards placement over power. A well-directed first serve on grass skids and stays low, compressing the returner's reaction window. It does not sit up and wait. Eala does not need to overpower Jovic on serve. She needs to locate the corners, keep her first serve percentage above 60, and make Jovic work for the returns that came easily 2 weeks ago in Paris. In the Zheng Shuai match, Eala won 17 first serve points in the opening set. That is not elite by tour standards, but it represented a functional platform. She held serve under pressure in the 9th game despite facing 3 breakpoints. That kind of serving grit matters far more on grass than it does on clay, because every hold on grass carries greater psychological weight. There are fewer break opportunities. The server's advantage is structural. If Eala can hold her service games at even a 70% clip, she puts enormous pressure on Jovic to create something on return that the surface naturally resists. Jovic, for her part, has a first serve that has improved dramatically. Tennis Channel reported earlier this year that her first serve speed has increased by 10 miles per hour compared to 12 months ago, and her backhand has added 6 miles per hour. That velocity matters on grass, where a faster serve produces a lower, more skidding bounce. Jovic's serve at Roland Garros was inconsistent, landing just 50% of first deliveries in the Eala match, but the second serve returns she drew from Eala were devastating. On grass, if Jovic can push that first serve percentage closer to 60 or 65%, she removes the very lane that gives Eala hope. This is where the doubles partnership becomes analytically relevant, and not in the sentimental way most people discuss it. These two know each other's service patterns intimately. They have stood at the net watching each other serve in Auckland and Indian Wells. Jovic knows where Eala goes under pressure on the deuce side. Eala knows which body serve Jovic favors at advantage. That mutual intelligence does not cancel out. It compounds. It means the returner in this match has better read data than in any other draw encounter. And that benefits the better returner disproportionately. In the Roland Garros match, Jovic was the better returner. Comprehensively. She built a 21-10 advantage in first return points won. But grass introduces a variable that clay does not, the serve and volley or chip and charge option. Eala is 5 feet 9 inches, left-handed, and moves well forward. If she can occasionally follow her serve to the net, she introduces a visual disruption that Jovic's return data from clay cannot account for. It is not about winning the majority of those net approaches. It is about creating hesitation. A returner who is thinking about a possible net rush will not take the same full swing she took in Paris. The left hand matters too. On grass, a left-handed serve swings away from a right-handed returner's forehand on the ad side, opening up the court in a way that clay's higher bounce partially neutralizes. Eala's wide serve to the ad court could be genuinely dangerous here, especially against Jovic, who tends to position herself slightly inside the baseline on return. That positioning works beautifully on clay, where the extra time allows her to take the ball early. On grass, it exposes her to being wrong-footed by deliveries that skid wider than expected. But I refuse to pretend this is balanced. Jovic is ranked 14 places higher. She has a 23-12 record this year against significantly tougher opposition. She reached a Grand Slam quarterfinal. She just beat Eala 2 weeks ago. And she played the match against Ruzic at Queen's Club like a player who knows exactly what her grass court game plan is, even if the sample is small. The forehand was penetrating. The movement was cautious but effective. She did not try to play grass court tennis in a way that violated her natural game. That composure from an 18-year-old on an unfamiliar surface is not something that shows up in statistics. Eala's path to winning this match is narrow and specific. She needs to serve at her Birmingham level, not her Roland Garros level. She needs to take the ball early on Jovic's second serve and remind the American that the returner's advantage from clay has evaporated. She needs to construct points that end in the first 4 or 5 shots before Jovic can establish the cross-court rhythm that suffocated her in Paris. And she needs to manage the emotional complexity of competing against someone she hugged before and after their last match, someone she shared a doubles court with just 5 months ago in Auckland, someone she will almost certainly partner with again later this year. Jovic's path is simpler, which is itself an advantage. She can play her game. Her serve is better. Her ranking is higher. The recent head-to-head memory is hers. If she serves above 55% first serves in, defends her service games without stress, and waits for Eala's second serve to appear, the match will look a lot like Paris, just faster and on a different color surface. The broadcast will be available through Tennis Channel across the Americas. International viewers should check the WTA tournament page for their regional broadcaster. The match is set for June 10th, with the exact court and time confirmed the evening before. This is a round of 16 match at a WTA 500, which means it sits in the prime scheduling window of the day. You are unlikely to miss it if you are looking. What makes this particular encounter worth watching is not the friendship narrative, though that is real and worth acknowledging. It is the speed at which the tactical conversation has to change. 2 weeks is an absurdly short time to restructure an approach against an opponent who just beat you convincingly. Eala's coaching team at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca would not have had time for a deep tactical overhaul between Birmingham and this match. What they could have done, and what I suspect they did, is review the Roland Garros tape and isolate the 3 or 4 moments where the surface did the damage rather than the player. Every ball that sat up on clay and allowed Jovic to tee off on a return, every rally that extended to 10 or 12 shots because clay slowed Eala's winners, every second serve that bounced into Jovic's hitting zone instead of skidding through it. Those are the moments that disappear.